So again, this book is called Go On, The Biography of a Soldier Statesman, written by J. Isawa Eligo. Nationalization agenda was the real path to the program. Are you serious? The king, I want to assume that we can talk, we can have conversations, but what I hate, I detest people revising history to make themselves feel good. Nowhere in any journal or conversation would you hear people say that nationalization policy was what led to the pogrom. By the way, there was no pogrom. There were killings. The killings, the real killings that everybody's, we really talk about, happened in September of 1966. Nationalization policy started in 1962. Was really enforced around 1964. And it was right. The Sardauna was right to northernize the northern public service. It's not your birthright. You're not from there. The Eastern Civil Service did not have Hausa people becoming Oga. The Igbos took over the Eastern Civil Service because, of course, they were the majority in the East. They took over the Federal Civil Service. Not because they were the majority, but because they were in alliance with the NCNC was in alliance with the NPC, and the NPC did not have as many graduates to do those jobs anyway. The Igbos, through nepotistic policies and dubious actions, ensured that the whole place was shored up with Igbo people. Again, if you go to the Radio Me Global channel, the Telegram channel, you'll find a document from the NCNC Western region in 1964 talking about how the Igbos took over all the jobs. If a region now said, I want to protect my own people, why would you call that a problem? When you are literally protecting your own people in your region, why would you want to take over another person's region? The place was not created for you. They have their own. This is what Sardauna said in the interview with BBC. He said, before then, his people were not alive to their responsibility. These were his words. But now that they have people coming out of universities, they have to ensure that they have jobs. The Northern Premier is not the nation's president or prime minister. And what he did, someone says, is that discrimination? I'll ask you, guys, we're going to get into it though. The king, let me ask you a question. The governor of Anambra State is recruiting health officials. One of the criteria inside newspaper publication is that person, by the way, with the letterhead of Anambra State, sealed with the seal of the governor. One of the criteria is that you must be an indigene of Anambra. Is that discrimination, the king? Sardauna said he preferred West to do the job than have Igbos. Yes, he should. I will do the same thing, by the way, just in case you don't know. So if you want to hate me, quickly start hating me right now. What the Sardauna did, I will do the exact same thing. If I were the premier at the time. Guys, let me just say, so you don't go around with all this, is bad, is bad. Read the book, My Life. The book is called My Life. It's by Ahmadu Bello. What is the essence of one Nigeria? To have one army. Not for you to take over people's spaces. Why do you guys ask these ridiculous questions? So the essence of one Nigeria is for me to deny my own people for your sake? Are you okay? You have your own region. You've taken over the place. You now go to every other region and take over their spaces because we are in one Nigeria. The West, where you are the minority ethnic group, you became the majority of the people working in civil service. You have in the Midwest, by the way, the majority in the Midwest at the time was Benin, the Benin Esako, Esan. Those people, they were the majority. But somehow NCNC, using the power of ethnicity, ensured that an Igbo man became the premier of the Midwest, Dennis Osadebe. And the same thing they did in the Eastern region, because of course they had the political power. They did the exact same thing in the Midwest by making sure that the top political office holders were Igbos, and even people in civil service were Igbos. Ojukwu repeated that same thing after they invaded the Midwest. We're going to get into that in these conversations. So if, for instance, you've taken over the eastern region, which, I mean, that's your place anyway, so it's okay. You now do the same thing in Midwest. You do the same thing in federal civil service. You now want to do it in the north, and then you ask me, are we not one Nigeria? Who cares? Are you not a thief? Say, are we not one Nigeria? How come you are the only one that think one Nigeria means you should take other people's spaces? Are we not one Nigeria? Meanwhile, even in 2025, your governors are putting out notices asking people to get jobs, but they can only be indigenous of their state. You have no problems with that. Is the Hausa man not one Nigeria that cannot? Why is he not taking that job? Please, this is why I said you guys are not different from each other. You are the same. But well, we have different people here, but by and large, most of you think alike. One Nigeria. Now let's go back to, you say Nigeria Nigeria. So, by the way, let me finish what I was saying before this guy asked the question. Sardauna said in the past that people were not allowed to their responsibility, but now, as far as Western education was concerned, but now the people have started going to school. Now the young people are coming out of universities. Where would they work? And back then, the government was one of the largest employers at the time. Now the people that they are employing are from other parts of Nigeria. Their own children who have gone to uni are now coming out of school. Where should they work? And by the way, that man was not the prime minister of Nigeria. He was the premier of a region. His duty was to his region first before Nigeria. And by the way, that's the exact same thing that was being done in the eastern region. As a matter of fact, the duty in the eastern region was not to the eastern region first. It was to Igbo first, before eastern region, then Midwest Igbos, and then others. Study it. That's the thing. You don't give what you ask for. Which makes you... That's why I say you guys always think that Nigerians are stupid. And that's why people are angry with me with all these things. I see it every day on YouTube, on Twitter. If you like, insult me on TikTok, Facebook, insult me. Don't worry, I can take it. Just understand the fact that if you don't change, you're going to have the exact same results. It's only a matter of time. Now let's get back to the book. So this is go on.